introduction and the books and the profile of VilasKale sir, तो मुझे एक छोटा सा कोटेशन, एक छोटी सी मुहावरा, एक छोटा सा कोट उनके लिए याद आया है. Like basically life is just like cup of tea or coffee. Basically coffee, it's up to us that how we are making it, whether a tapri ki chai coffee या फिर CCD की coffee या फिर coffee of Starbucks. So yes, welcoming Mr. VilasKale sir. Sir's life is a life full of several interests, and he has been actually working over 53 years and successfully handled the responsibilities of leadership in various organizations like JCI, Dalvi Memorial Hospital, Vidarbha Economic Development Council, Chitnavis Trust, and a number of others. He is a trainer in leadership skill, and his passion lies in performing arts, and he has written, directed and produced several plays enjoyed by selected audience. His passion for travel was awakened in his teenage years, and since then he has grabbed every opportunity to wander in India and abroad. So sir, can you please just take us to your book of Come See the World with Me? So can you just show your audience and tell your audience about your book and your travel?
Am I there? Yeah, you can hear? Okay. Thanks so much. Well, this book is coming out tomorrow. It's still not launched, but it will be launched tomorrow at 12 noon here in this very hall. I'll show you the book, what it looks like. It's a little thick book, पर क्या करे 106 देश का थोड़ा सा भी वर्णन अगर लिखने जाए तो it fills up pages. And I have also kind of included in this my paintings, which I did at those places or after coming back from the photographs that I had taken. So it's a book that's coming up. Life has been good. I've enjoyed traveling. And in the earliest, let me share with you something interesting. My first trip abroad was in 1968 when I was 17-year-old. And I got arrested at Kabul as we landed because my visa had expired. So the visa was all printed in the Arabic script, and Delhi immigration office checked it, but उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आया कि day expire हो गया करके. And when we landed there, those people said your visa is expired, and they detained us. And it was so scary. And we didn't, of course, I mean, my uncle was with the Indian embassy.
के बारे में तो मैं क्या ही बोलूँ, मैम का प्रोफाइल एकदम, it's altogether a very different style of writing. It's basically belongs to the ancient style. So yes, Anuradha ma'am, she's the founder of India Tales, a leading bilingual travel media portal where she documents her global travels in the word, audio and video format with a focus on ancient India. She has authored Lotus in the Stone, Sacred Geography in Eternal India, published in 2020. Yes. Usual Temples of India, published in 2020. Cave Temple from Prehistoric to Modern History, published in 2021. Bharat Ke Anmol Ratan, published in 2020, to name a few. She studied the intersection of 3 prime interests, right? And what are those interests? We are going to just listen from ma'am. But yes, definitely she is writing about her interest in books, blogs, and definitely she is the winner of so many books. So let's welcome ma'am. Ma'am, just want to know about your journey towards the, basically the ancient traveling.
Okay. Namaste, first of all. Thank you so much for having me. So my journey has been a journey of a very average Indian who was born in the 1970s and, we in a normal middle-class Indian family. And I happened to join the IT industry in the mid-90s. And then I started traveling. And sometime in 2007, I gave that up to full-time do what I want to do and travel all the time. So a blog just happened. I started writing a blog just as an experiment, just as an experiment to see how the blogging as a tool is, because I was a technology person. And as I started writing, there were not too many bloggers back then in 2004, 2005. A lot of people started responding to me. So I am really, really thankful to all those people who responded to me at that point in time. They are responsible for all the writing that I do today, because they kept telling me, they kept sharing their reactions and responses to me. They kept adding to a lot of knowledge. So if I would go and write about 10 things, they will tell me 20 more that I have not seen and I must see for during the next visit. So all that converted me into a traveler. And as I kept traveling, my travels started getting deeper and intenser. So this whole book is about my journey of being a leisure traveler. People, typically in the corporate world, like we do weekend travels to relax, to unwind, leisure trips, to becoming becoming a pilgrim, to discovering the depths of travel, treating travel as a university. For me today, there is no bigger university. I do have degrees from lots of universities in terms of, and you can't guess my master's degrees in computer science. Okay, and my first book was a book on business innovation, published by Penguin way back in 2014. And that's still an area that I write about. A lot of people ask me, what is the connection between travel and books and business innovation? They seem to be very, very distinct fields, probably you will understand, but most people think they are very distinct, If you're writing about art history, how can you write about business innovation? But what is innovation? Innovation is going to the intersection of different subjects, and there is no better tool than a travel to go to the intersection, go to a world which is not yours, go to meet the people who are unlike you, see the world which is unlike yours, and learn new things. And then you get those ideas and adapt the ideas as they are into your business innovations in general in life or for your business. So that's my journey. Today I travel more like a pilgrim, and when I say pilgrim, I do travel to a lot of pilgrimage places, but anywhere I travel it becomes a pilgrim, because I want to know the place as intimately as possible. So that's been my journey, and essentially this book is about my journey of becoming a pilgrim.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful insight. Yes, KhyrunnisaA ma'am. इसके सबसे पहले तो मैम के नाम से स्टार्ट करते हैं. When I called her for just a small conversation to know more about the author, so मैंने मैम को बोला, मैम just पहले आप मुझे ये बताइए, how do I call है, how do I pronounce your name? So इतनी सादगी से मैम ने बोला, रुचि खैरियत बोलो, so automatically तुमको खैरुन्निसा बोलना आ जाएगा. So that's the best part about her, that this is how you have to pronounce the name. So that's KhyrunnisaA ma'am. Ma'am is an award-winning writer of children's fiction and author of Butterfinger series. Tongue in the Cheek, The Funny Side of the Life, published in 2019, is her first book for adults. And her latest book for children, The Lizard of Oz and Other Stories, published in 2019. She writes regularly for children magazine Dim Dimma. Her writing styles are witty, funny, and gripping, filled with puns. Her latest book is Chuckle, Merry, Spin, Us in US. So guys, audience, if you see the book, so after looking at the cover of the page, you can imagine that इनकी journey कैसी रही होगी. See that, the couple is in a haywire position. Passport नहीं है, visa arrange करना है. They both are English teacher and going to US. So yes, ma'am. इससे पहले मैम कुछ बोले, मैम के लिए मैं बोलना चाहूँगी, like वो एक song है ना हमारी रोजा picture का. What is that song? That दिल है छोटा सा, छोटी सी आशा. So that's how she captured the children. Yes, ma'am. So please tell something about this book, like and why the name is a totally different name.
Chuckle, Merry, Spin.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Ruchi, for your warm words of welcome and introduction. I'm very happy to be on the panel with two great travelers. And I would also like to thank OCLF for having invited me, hosting me to be here with you and share some of my travel experiences. Well, actually, you have traveled to 106 countries. You have traveled all over India. You're passionate about traveling. You say you're a pilgrim and every travel is a pilgrimage. I'm a most reluctant traveler. I don't like to travel. My husband doesn't like it at all. So we have not traveled abroad at all. In India also, whenever we are forced to travel, we travel. So traveling is not exactly in my blood. I don't have wheels on my feet. So it so happened that, and my son is abroad. He's been inviting us to come there, and we cook up some excuse or the other. The greatest excuse is what he says, because if he says we'll go, I don't mind going, but I am not particularly fired up about the idea of traveling. So he says, we don't have passports and I have asthma. So these are two stock excuses, and people just stop asking us to travel. But then my son got married, and my daughter-in-law was, she was studying in the Syracuse University and she was graduating. So she said we should attend her graduation program. Ceremony rather, and she called and she asked me, will you come? I said, okay, I don't mind, but then there is somebody else whose permission you have to get, that somebody else is here, okay? And she said, okay, I'll call him. And she calls us uncle and auntie, because that's what she called us before she got married. And we were also happy with that, because becoming mother-in-law and father-in-law was very frightening. So we thought we will be uncle, auntie. It sounds more comfortable. And she called him and she said, uncle, will you come? And he said, let me see. So that let me see was his way of slowly building up a no. But we took it to mean yes. So you said, let me see, which means you are interested in coming. And before we knew what was happening, he was bombarded with calls. Uncle, when are you coming? And when aren't you getting, we didn't even have passports. So you must get your visa. My ceremony is on 10th May. You have to come. So finally, we threw in the towel and decided to pack, and we started from scratch. So right from getting passport, which is ridiculously easy, we are using it as a big excuse, as if it's impossible to get a passport, as if we have to, clear a lot of red tapeism before we get a passport, and we got it in 3 days. Then we went for the visa. We had a mini adventure there. And we got the visa also, 10-year visa. So off we went. And we had a really wonderful time. We are armchair travelers. It's very nice to imaginatively travel, and we love doing that because we love books. So through books we travel, and we thought that is enough. But actually going to the US, going to a totally different country, looking at it with Indian eyes, looking at it with excited eyes, looking at it as a very new place, and everything was so different. We really enjoyed those 40 days. 40 days we were there. We went to 6 states, from East Coast to the West Coast, and that is what I recorded, since we had a few adventures too, and it was pretty eventful and very exciting. I asked my publishers, who came up with Tongue-in-Cheek, and Westland Publishers, Westland Books, and they said, fine, Kartika said, it's a very good idea, go ahead. And that is how Chuckle, Merry, Spin came out. It echoes Huckleberry Finn. Yes, Huckleberry Finn, Chuckle, Merry, Spin, because it's a humorous travelogue. Chuckle, Merry travelogue, Spin, we are spinning around. So that was how the title fell packed. I mean, it was a title that everybody liked, and it was chosen by a quirky cousin of ours. Okay. And not me. People tell me, such a lovely title, and then I tell them in a small voice, not mine. I would love to take the credit for the idea, but it's actually a cousin who came up with this idea, and the extension of the title is Us in the US. That is much simpler, that's mine.
But that simpler also, serves the purpose. Us in US. For us in US is sab kuch.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so that's my journey.
Yes, thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. Actually, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि once you go through the book, you all will enjoy the book. शायद सब हंस के लोटपोट हो जाने वाले हैं. No outstanding comedy is needed at that time when you are going to read the book. Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, coming to Anuradha, ma'am. So, ma'am, like when I'm going through your the blogs and especially your book, so basically it's more about the solo woman traveling. So, can you just like how was your like always your journey for being a solo woman traveler?
So I'm not a placard holder for solo women traveling, honestly. But it so happens that if you want to travel more than certain quantity, nobody else can match the dates and times and budgets and everything. So you end up traveling solo. So from that point of view, I have done a lot of solo traveling. But I'm not really somebody, there is a cliche that I quit my job to become a solo traveler. I didn't do that. I had, but I did end up doing a lot of solo travels. So what do you want me to answer about that?
Yeah, I want that how safe is it for women being you travel away? So like the women traveler and how safe is it?
Okay.
What are the obstacles? What are the challenges you faced during your traveling
how
days?
Many of you, especially women sitting here, think India is safe for solo women travel? Some of you. Nandita, you have traveled. So everybody else? Okay, yes. Okay. How many of you think it's unsafe? Okay, most of you think it's safe. How many of you have actually traveled solo? Not many. Okay, so those who have not traveled and said, that's a theoretical answer. So let me give you some little statistics. This is not a statistics, that's my favorite part, but this is a statistic that makes the point. If you really look at the abuse against women statistics, especially rape statistics, you will find that more than 90 to 95% of that happens within the family, friends, known people circle. So which essentially means if I revert it, use a mathematical corollary kind of a place, you are essentially far more safer amongst strangers than you are in your own vicinity. Okay? So that is statistically speaking, you are far more safer. I have documented a lot of my times when absolute strangers have come to protect me when I have not been able to sense a danger, but they sensed a danger and they formed a kind of a circle of protection for me. I'll tell you one example. I was traveling solo to Bhutan, and this is pre-smartphone era. I wanted to see Bhutan while it was still a kingdom, while it was going for elections couple of years down the line. So I wanted to see a kingdom. I had never seen a kingdom. So I went there all alone, mobile phone. I had a mobile phone, but Bhutan didn't have mobile networks then. I had planned my travel from Thimphu to Siliguri. I had to start early morning so that I reach Siliguri by lunchtime. I take my precautions. I must say that I do take all my precautions, that I'm not out alone at night for some reason. So we traveled from Thimphu to Phunchilong, which is the India-Bhutan border. And there was a protest going on in West Bengal at that point in time. And they said, you cannot cross. You can cross, but your car cannot cross. A similar story you had in Nepal. So, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. And if you ask them कि जा सकते हैं, पता नहीं दिल्ली से order आएगा तब जाना. There was nothing I could do. There was no food. All the shops on either side were closed. The traffic piled up because that place is not used to having, blockages. We were there. So all I could do was go to a movie theater, see the same Hindi film back to back, 2 shows, just so that I can sit inside. Okay, comfortably. So after 6 o'clock, they allowed us to go, which meant that we had to go through the whole forest, Jaldapara forest range, where all the animals, especially elephants, come out at night. And my driver mentally prepared me saying that अगर कोई हाथी आएगा मैं लाइट बंद करके गाड़ी बंद कर दूंगा, आप घबराना नहीं, आवाज़ नहीं करना, चुप करके बैठे रहना. He was being very protective. We reached Siliguri at 2 in the morning. And I was hungry because there was no food through the day. 2 बजे जाके मैंने होटल में चेक इन किया and I wanted to eat, desperately wanted to eat, and their coffee shop was open. So I said, let me go and eat. I ordered something, I sat down, the manager came to me, and in a very authoritative way, he told me, madam, get up, go to your room, I'll send the food to the room. His manner told me that I should not protest, and I did not. I listened to him. I went to my room. He sent the food. I was too tired. I slept off. Morning, I saw there were 2 security guards sitting outside my room. Then I asked him, I said, why are these? He said, no, when you came at 2 a.m., there were some men sitting there. I was not very comfortable, so I made sure there's somebody outside. So when you get this kind of a protection, how can you say the place is not safe? You know, and I have ample examples like this where people have come and, they've given you a protective shield whenever they've sensed a danger. And if you are being respectful to people, a lot of times, especially when we go from a very urban milieu to a rural area or a jungle area, we tend to go with a very, with an attitude that I know more than you, or we are not respectful to people. So my biggest tool for my safety is being respectful to people. You feel unsafe anywhere, you go to a police guy, हाथ जोड़ के बोलो, sir, मैं इस मुसीबत में फंस गई हूँ, please help me. They go out of their way to help you. All of them. Knowing a local language helps, because if you talk in English, sometimes if they are not comfortable with English, they will pull back. But chota cheezein, if you are mota, if you are respectful to people, you get it back in multiples.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, you gave so amazing tips that, I think it's an encouragement for the females to travel alone. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, just our audience and me, I just want to know about your hitchhiking experiences. I think they would love to hear that.
हिचहाइकिंग कितने लोगों को मालूम है? उसका हिंदी इक्विवेलेंट फुकट जाना. ट्रैवल के लिए पैसे नहीं भरना. So I was in Afghanistan, as I told you, in 1968, and there I saw on the road a lot of youngsters, Europeans, who were standing on the highways and doing this. So we were wondering, I had never seen that anywhere before. So I asked my uncle, I said, what is this? Why are they? He said, these are hitchhikers. And they hitchhiked all the way from Europe to Nepal, Varanasi, and these places. And that kind of, I got the spark and the bug bit kind of a thing. And I said, I must try this hitchhiking business. So you won't believe, tabhi to internet nahi tha, there was no ye. So I started planning on the Reader's Digest World Atlas, that we will go from India via Amritsar to Kabul and then on to Iran and then get into Europe and go all the way up to England and come back. And take jate waqt via Germany and coming back via Italy, Greece and all that. Pura planning vagare kiya, and I was 20 years old, I passed my MCom, and that summer I asked my younger 2 cousins that would you come? So 3 of us can go, and they both agreed, but it was more important for the parents to agree. So they somehow, I don't know how, my youngest cousin, she was only 17. So 2 boys and 1 cousin girl. And 3 of us, we went, and it was a 3 months hitchhiking trip. But what happened is India and Pakistan developed a very bad relationship. Bangladesh war was almost going to happen any moment, and also the border was closed. So we had to go by a ship to Iran. So that was an expenditure. Our hitchhiking budget was ki sab phukat karna, but this was not possible. So we had to pay for our fare to go up to Khorramshahr in Iran, and from there on we went by bus. Ab hua kya ki when we reached Iran, the Consul General, we went to him just to meet. So he advised that you've got a girl with you and it's very unsafe for you to travel with a girl, stand on the highways and ask for a ride. So he said, better you pay for the cheapest bus fare that you can, but get out of this country without trying to hitchhike here. So we had to spend money there. ऐसा करते हुए फिर we reached Turkey, and then from there on we did from Turkey we went to Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Germany, and France. From there we went into Italy. Italy में पहुँचते पहुँचते हमारे पैसे ख़त्म हो गए. We had no money and no relative, no friend. So we sold our camera. And the first thing that we did is we ate, because दिन भर कुछ खाया ही नहीं था. So it was very interesting, all kinds of experiences. But as Anuradha was saying, people are very helpful. हम तमीज़ से अगर रहते हैं, if we behave ourselves, there are people who are very helpful. Not only that, there was a very high regard in places like Germany for India. So I was on the highway wearing a dhoti kurta and asking for a lift. And one car just stopped by and he said, Namaste. So he said, Namaste. He said, where are you going to? He said, we're going to Stuttgart. So he said, come, I'll give you a ride. Not only that, as we reached Stuttgart, he said, where are you going to stay? We said, we don't know, we'll find some youth hostel or something like that. He says, come, I'll take you to the hotel. He paid for our hotel stay. He came with his wife in the evening, took us out to dinner. Next day, he took us to the museum in Unterturkheim of Mercedes-Benz. So a lot of people, one priest took us to his house in France and all. ये अच्छे एक्सपीरियंसेस भी रहे, बुरे भी रहे. 5-5 घंटा लिफ्ट नहीं मिल रही थी, अंगूठा इतनी ठंडी, thumb had gone sore and stuff like that. So it was all this we completed. Then we came back into Turkey from Greece, via Greece, because we sold the camera, then bought the ticket to go to Greece, and from Greece, Turkey, and then Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, and then we told the family, हमने blackmail किया family को कि हम बहुत थक गए हैं, please हमको air fare भेजिए, Kuwait to Mumbai we will fly, at least give us that. And Air India had just introduced the Jumbo 747. So we took that flight and all, we thrilled with ourselves. And just to let you know, about 5,000 rupees was the total expenditure for 3 months on that trip.
It's a real hitchhiking. It's a real hitchhiking.
Yeah, but that time's 5,000. So you remember that, 71. Thank you.
एक्चुअली सर का जर्नी, मतलब पूरा जो वो हिच हाइकिंग का जर्नी है, इट्स एक्चुअली एडवेंचरस है ना, और सही में वो हिच हाइकिंग था. तो इट्स या कमेंडेबल सर, दैट्स रियली कमेंडेबल. Yes, KhyrunnisaA ma'am. Now our audience want to know, one of the very hilarious episode of your book, like which you want to share with them. So let them take to a roller coaster ride of hilarious journey.
I think you'd always love to know something about food, right?
Yes.
Food is so close to everybody's heart. And now it's closer to lunchtime, so I think it's even closer. But so I think I'll just tell you that in the US, everything is big. Everything is huge. You ask for a sandwich, one monster sandwich will come. You ask for a cup of coffee, one barrel I'm just exaggerating, but you get everything in huge quantities. I don't know how they drink and then they refill the cups and go on like that. So, and not only that, you also have, I'll just read out this bit from this book, which is about how you travel. Getting a sandwich is not easy. You can't just go and buy a sandwich, all right? So we got off at the University of Madison, bidding a warm goodbye to Steve. Steve was a driver of the bus. From there, we went food hunting. Arpita, she's my daughter-in-law, took us to a nearby fast food outlet for sandwiches. Now, if you think buying a sandwich is the easiest task on earth, you have another thing coming. For in the US, it is not a simple choice, but a multi-layered decision-making process that challenges the highest intelligence. You have to choose, Auntie, said Arpita, going ahead. She abandoned us and went off. I looked at the menu stuck on the wall and chose. I want a meat sandwich. And that started the elaborate gastronomical inquisition. That's perfect. The woman behind the counter gave a plastic smile. What kind of bread? Regular, brown, wheat, multigrain, toasted, or plain? plain grain, I stammered, giving the 2 words I could recall, as nervous as I had been when I faced the PG Viva board. What kind of cheese do you prefer? Soft, hard, semi-hard, blue, processed? And the filling, what vegetables? Lettuce, tomato, onion, cucumber? I felt dizzy. What meat? Some eggs too? And sauce, ma'am. Tomato ketchup, chili, mayonnaise, white, blonde. By then I had a headache. An aspirin, that's what I want. I wished to tell her. And pink bread with green cheese, cauliflower filling, kangaroo meat, and auburn sauce. Let me see you get me that. I don't even remember what I finally got, but I was grateful for something edible. It was giant-sized, so I shared it with my husband, who had been watching me with some amusement and had smartly decided to give the whole exercise a miss. That's it.
That's really... Actually, it's a hilarious episode. Nice. Anuradha ma'am, my another question to you. Or maybe if the audience, you are interested, do you have any questions in your box? If you want to ask some questions with our celebrities of the day, any specific questions for VilasK, Anuradha ma'am and KhyrunnisaA ma'am? Yes, please. You have the platter ready in front of you, right? You just need to put the sizzler, right? Just the sparkling. So please, yeah. Yes, please.
My question is to VilasK. When was the time you lost the count?
Never.
Say that again.
When was the time you lost the count when you were traveling so many countries?
I never kept a count actually. You know what happened? In the evening we were having a dinner together. It was a very small homestay kind of a place. So this German was around 65, 68. And he asked me while we were chatting that, how many countries have you been to? I said, I don't know. I've never counted how many countries I've been to. So he had traveled some 190 countries. Wow. And he was in the police services in Germany, retired. And what he did is he put his house on Airbnb. So he used to earn when he was traveling. And that paid for his travel and plus his pension. और मियाँ बीबी दोनों घूमते थे and every little island in the Pacific and all those places he had traveled. I said I better do some counting. So I came back to Nagpur, then I made a list and I said उसने 192 किया तो कम से कम 100 तो करूँ मैं. So that's when I kept a count.
Thank you, sir. Yes, audience, come on.
World, you know, and you have some kind of boxing that happens, you know, some kind of lingo that you start using. So for me, we used to look for, and I'm sure a lot of youngsters here would connect, how many of you want to be friends with people who are like you, who are looking for like-minded people? How many of you? Almost everybody, okay? So I was exactly like this. I wanted people like me, people who share tastes with me, who watch similar kind of films, who read similar kind of books, who like... Today, I look for people who are as much unlike me as possible. Because people like me, वो तो मुझे पता है क्या है. You know, they think like me, they do like me. But when I meet people who are unlike me, who are doing things very different from what I'm doing, that's where my learning happens. So that's a transformation, and being comfortable with that ambiguity and being comfortable with people who are unlike you. You know, today, when I travel, a driver is as important to me as, let's say, a minister. You know, so that is a big transformation that I have seen. Earlier, there were hierarchies in my mind. Those hierarchies are slowly shrinking. They've not gone altogether, but they're shrinking. So that's one big transformation that has happened, from people like me to people unlike me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It didn't transform my inner self at all, but it transformed me from a reluctant traveler to a less reluctant traveler. I don't think I would still race off. I did go to the US once more after that, but I don't think I'm that fired up, because we had 2 people, my son and my daughter-in-law, with us to help us with technology. US is completely technology driven. If you don't have a smartphone, you're done for. You can have a smartphone, but it is good to have a smart son and a smart daughter-in-law with you. So, and of course, it was an eye-opener. actual travel is wonderful. It's then that you really discover what a place is and how different people are. And as you said, we had lovely experiences. People are wonderful. People are friendly. Whether it's white, black or khaki, all are good people. You know, you meet a lot of good people, and it was a eye-opener of an experience, and I really enjoyed it. So that's about all that I can say about my trip, because just one trip.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir.
Add that, I just want to add to what she said. You know, when you travel, you find that the world is far more beautiful and happy than what the media would like us to believe.
Correct. Very well said. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It transformed me in a number of ways. Number one, I'm an absolute vegetarian. I don't even eat eggs. So traveling these 106 countries, I learned not to do nakhras. And go in for the local food. I never ever try and eat Indian food, go to an Indian restaurant. I want to try what is local. Or usme, you know, if you get the right words and you're able to tell them, there can be terrible experiences. I was in Korea, and in Korea they didn't know vegetarian in those days.
And
so
sir
I
is
was
100% vegetarian. I mean, and those days, you know, now everything is ready on your platter.
Yeah, so
But
I lived on rice, boiled rice and Tabasco sauce for 7 days. There was no choice. There was no such. But so it transforms you to become adjusting. Second thing is you get over all prejudices. You know, human prejudices, हम लोग differences को ढूंढते हैं. Instead of that, commonality started coming. That everybody is a human being. Everybody is in the pursuit of happiness. And is looking for, is a human being basically. These prejudices of differences in religion, color, caste, creed, whatever, they're all superfluous. The core value is humans, and you give the other person the same respect, you get it in return. So it transformed me in very, very positive and a beautiful way. Life became far more beautiful and enjoyable. I am.
Yes.
And I'm convinced it is good to be. My wife is a pakka non-vegetarian. And she wouldn't marry me when I proposed to her because she thought I'll transform her into a vegetarian. So she took the promise that I will never do that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing question. Ma'am, just a last question, sir. Yeah, you have. Actually, we are running short of time, so yeah.
Sir, I want to know about what did happen when you were stuck in Afghanistan, and how did Afghanistan authorities did treat you?
So when I was detained, they were not bad to us. They made us sit in a hall, and that's all. And the room was locked. So I mean, you know, it's a little scary. You're in a foreign place, and the room is locked, and you're seated there. But as I told you, luckily my Fufaji was in the Indian embassy in Kabul. So we called him up to say that we are detained, and he said, why? So we said, we don't know. They're not telling us because visa, like this he was doing. So he came. And then the Embassy of India intervened, and they gave us the whatever formality was done. और फिर हमारा छुटकारा हो गया वहाँ से. So it wasn't very torturous. Worse was in Bahrain, where we were. The ship was parked, and we were not supposed to go while going to Khurramshahr. And that somebody said, "Come, let's have a walk on the deck, on the dock." So we got off from the ship and we were taking a walk. So one vehicle came and he said, "Come, I'll drop you," and all. So we sat in that vehicle, and within a minute there were sirens and police and military, and with a gun they chased us. And my God, the way he abused me, how many generations before me, everybody, and that banduk was pointed to us and he said, "Get on the bloody ship." So that was scary. Because agar chal jati, to I wouldn't have been here.
I think audience are also very much excited to to know more about our authors and panelists of the day, but we are really running short of time because the next session is about to begin in just a few minutes. Pardon? Please read the books. They want to know more. Yes, they need to read a book. And yes, and please, audience, please join tomorrow for the book launch of VilasKale, sir. Come see the world with me. Congratulations, sir, for that and all the very best. So just to end with, Travel is medical travel, maybe pilgrimage, maybe ethnic, sports, adventurous, recreation, sometimes forcefully, sometimes wine travel, hitchhiking, cultural recreation. But it's totally up to us that which one is the best you connect the world with. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, wonderful audience and wonderful panelists.